This episode of the ETO Podcast is brought to you by Prism Deals, a PMG company. Prism Deals, smart marketing beyond sales. That's right, guys. Welcome to another edition of the ETO Podcast. I am Joe Rodriguez coming to you from Bristol, Connecticut, along with El Super Mojado. Y también Hugo Bernal. So, fellas, we have another episode today, and we have some really exciting news because we have a brand new PlayStation 4 FIFA tournament coming our way. And I think that's some enticing news for a connoisseur of the game like El Super Mojado. So I heard. Is that true, Super?
What's up, man? Yeah.
Ni él se la cree el pobre. ¿Qué onda, Hugo? ¿Cómo andas?
What's up, everybody? Ready to play some PlayStation and teach Super. Remember to bring a notepad and a pencil to take notes. Remember. You know how to play, Hugo? I've been playing since first PlayStation, probably before that.
He was one of the developers.
Not quite. But I'll defend myself. I'll do okay. And anytime, Super. I don't know if we're allowed in this thing. Believe me, I think I can. I've seen crazy stuff. I was in the World Cup, FIFA World Cup one day, World Cup in New York in 2016. They're crazy, man. They're good. So I don't want to put myself up there, but Super, I think I can teach you a lesson for sure.
All right, I'll take my PS1 out of the, cellar.
We'll see. Let's see if this doesn't skip on you.
Oigan, coming up in a little bit, we're actually going to have one of the best Mexican FIFA players out there, Ulibarri. He's going to be joining us. He had a conversation with Super and I, so we're going to actually play that back for you guys, a little later in the show today. But guys, like I said, the tournament coming up, it's going to be huge because we have a very, very cool prize in the works. That is courtesy of our sponsor, Prism Deals, a PMG company, and it's great, man. They actually joined us. We came together. We kind of talked about what we could do, and we ended up just coming together with this incredible proposal for them. And they were like, "Hey, we like it. We love it." So, anyways, big shout out to Prism Deals for bringing this, for allowing the opportunity to host the tournament and coming up with this great prize. So, Hugo, esto es lo que va a ganar. The winner's gonna get a PlayStation. They're gonna get a headset. They're going to get a T-shirt, and then also they're going to get a $100 PlayStation Network gift card, dude. So that's a nice little package right there, right?
Yeah, I can, with that $100 gift card, I can buy some cold ones for Super Mojado, who's going to lose in the first round, probably.
No, you know what? Just send me the prices now,
Okay.
You don't have to bother and go through all the hassle.
Hey, hold on. ¿Qué no dijo lo mismo al Edwin? Remember Edwin was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm the man, I'm this and that."
Yeah, but except, don't put me on that Edwin's level, man. I thought he was going to shave his head just like you, man. We were going to shave him. What happened?
That's what I thought.
We have to encourage parents to let their kids play. Because they're the good ones. I'm pretty sure young kids are the ones. This is the future. I'm telling you. People are making a lot of money on esports.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Like, and you mentioned about the FIFA World Cup, and the level is just out of this world. But anyway, so if you guys are interested in joining and participating in this tournament, there is a limit. There's only going to be 64 spaces open. So make sure that you visit our website at eltrianline.com/FIFA20 so that way you can get all the details on how to register. Okay, so 64 teams maximum, but minimum 32. Single elimination. And we actually talked to Ulibarri about that. So he's got some really good tips. So make sure that you watch the segment coming up a little bit later. And like I said, I mean, all you got to do is just visit the website. We're going to make sure that we have a little link on our bio and a link on this specific post on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So that way you guys could just click on it and, do your thing. All right. And again, that's courtesy of our sponsor, Prism Deals. So, fellas, Liga MX had their E-League tournament that León ended up winning. Did you think it was just kind of like a reactionary, or is this something that was probably already in the works from Liga MX?
I don't know if it was a reaction, but they did good actually, because it was one of the first leagues in the world that they became with this pause that we took because of COVID.
Right.
So I believe Liga MX was one of the first ones for sure. Great job whatsoever. The only problem is with Chivas, they eventually started. There was some controversy against America, and of course, America made it to the final, and there was some controversy, and then León ended up winning. Super. Whose fault was it? It's because America, they always have something. I know you're a Chiva hermano, but do you have to give them the credit, or they did cheat?
Well, listen, man. When something fishy happened in Chivas' game against Morelia, they made him play the game again. So
right.
How come now that they have controversy in Chivas America, how come they didn't have to play that over? You know?
They should do. Who played for Chivas? El Nene, no? Nene, what's his last name?
Yeah.
What was that?
Beltran.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beltran. He should play again. Just call the guy and listen. Let's just play you and me right now, and we'll show the world what's up.
Oh, but
I'm sure
they were stacking
story
so
would
much.
be different.
Super wanted to get
Man.
Super wanted to get in the mix of that game. That's what I know. He wanted to get up in the mix. He wanted to step in. But hey, really quick, going back to the what you said about Liga MX being the first. What I did personally like was that they had the players play because, for example, in MLS, they have pro players playing. So like that was kind of the cool twist, right?
But MLS though, they do the tournament every year. I've been to one up in Boston, and they do every year. So Liga MX reacted because of the pause of COVID, but MLS, they do it every year like the normal thing, and might as well. They belong to those teams, actually. I remember the one that I won, it was up in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, or 2018. I'm not sure. Yeah, Houston Dynamo won it that day. The level that you see in those tournaments, it's crazy. Good thing that they're doing it because you promote soccer, first of all, but you encourage kids to get involved with sports. They're esports. A lot of the parents are probably thinking Nintendo, because all Latino parents call it Nintendo. It's not good for them. It is good. It's the future. It's the present now. It's just a little bit of balance in life. Play a little bit of Nintendo. He's probably going to make a career out of it, and then also go outside and play with your friends and spend some time in the sun.
All those 16-year-olds cheering for you, Hugo. All of them.
Well, it's just like being trying to be a professional in soccer, you know. Not it's you got to be really good, man.
You never know.
They just got to be careful with those fingers, though, because they don't want to develop, early symptoms of arthritis or anything like that, right? Carpal tunnel. Yeah, so
he's like, oh yeah, I worked out today. I played 2 games in FIFA, but I worked out.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So anyhow, guys, again,
I worked out today.
Oh, is that what it is? I see.
Puro burrito. So
no, cerveza, brother.
Cerveza, güey.
Bueno, I'm just saying. Not all of us are borrachos, right? So anyway, hey guys, so happy belated Father's Day to you guys. I know both of you guys are fathers, and I'm sure that you guys enjoyed yourselves with you guys' children, and your fathers. Hugo, we got a chance to see that really cool video that you made with your dad, man. You want to share a little bit about that?
Sure, cantando El Corrido del Caballo Blanco of Vicente Fernández. And we came up with that video I don't know, we found that video. It was from 1989, if I'm not mistaken. And then we were able to digitize it and put it on the computer. And I was like, let's do it again, 30 years after. And we both sang it again. Of course, I had to put the music in it, the real music, although because our singing is not that good. So it's better off if we listen to Vicente Fernandez, the real guy. I know Super sings really well, but
anyway, claro. Today, I'm sorry, for Father's Day, I was doing una carnita asada aquí en la casa with my dad, and we celebrated. We're still celebrating.
I think I have the secret for singing well. Cerveza, tequila, you're the best singer. That's all you need.
At least you think you are.
Who cares after that? No, but it was a fun time. It was a good time. Good thing that soccer is back. Raul Jimenez, of course, doing his thing. Even El Super didn't believe in him.
That's true.
So is he a father yet, or he's going to be a father, isn't he?
He's father to be. Yes.
Yeah. But he, like you mentioned, he ended up scoring in Wolverhampton's 2-0 victory over West Ham. And we all know what happened last week with Super Mojado saying that he was going to struggle, and you became the wizard.
Forgot how to play soccer.
You became the wizard, Hugo. You became the psychic. You nailed it on the right on the coffin. He scored a goal.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, wait, almost. You almost had it, though, with the assist, too. But, hey, the goal.
Yeah, he didn't get the assist, yeah.
It's the goal, right?
But Super saying that he's going to forget how to play because they're being on a pause for a long time. Super, they're professionals. I told you back then, I'll tell you again, they're not going to forget that thing. Just admit it. I don't like the guy because he's from America. Just say it, Super. It's okay.
I didn't say that they forgot how to play. It's just that because they were stopped for so long, obviously it wasn't going to be the same. And you saw it. The game went on all the first half 0-0, and then the goal didn't come to minute 73. So, and the second goal came into minute 84. Listen,
what's the final score?
It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's just I was saying, I hope they win.
That's a late excuse. Did you see the interview with El Cholo Simeone? Listen, at the end of the day, we end up with a 3 points. If they would have scored in the first minute and in the second minute, that was it. 3 points. Super. You cannot come up with that excuse, man.
Just how you brought that up. They only won 1-0.
That's all you need.
Hey,
they're taking.
I wanna ask you guys. And sorry to cut you guys off, but I wanna ask you guys this: is Jimenez? Okay, I shouldn't even say this because I know Jimenez is the best Mexican soccer player right now. Just say yes or no. Do you guys both agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, by how much is he the best Mexican soccer player, Hugo?
No, I would put also not that much because
Okay.
I would put also Héctor Herrera in it. He's not gonna be scoring goals because he's not that type of player, but he's up there. Even to me right now, Andrés Guardado, he's doing great. Andrés Guardado, also Chucky Lozano. He got into a fight with Gattuso. He's not getting enough minutes, he's not getting minutes at all. But he's up there too. But Jimenez still is a step above them, and there's no discussion unless Super is going to come up with something that because
I have it as like this, side to side with Carlos Vela.
I knew
Carlos Vela. Because listen, I know you guys are gonna say, "Oh, Vela's playing the MLS. It's not the same level. It's not the same." But you guys can't deny the talent that this guy has. Nobody else, no other Mexican soccer player has the talent that Carlos Vela has. And right now, if he had more ambition, he would still be playing in Europe.
There's no would have. There's no would have in this world. Just listen to this. If you think he's in the same level as Raul Jimenez in MLS, it's okay. It's a good league. It's picking up. It's getting there too. Okay. Now what? What's next for Carlos Vela? He's not gonna go to El Tri. Raul Jimenez is. So he's doing his best at whatever he wants to do, and that's it. So that's why Raul Jimenez has to be a little bit higher than him, or higher.
Well, in talent, he's higher because he's in Europe. He's in a team that he's a superstar. but I want to see him go to another team. You know, we're gonna call it a top team because that's what I want to see him succeed. You know, and then I'm gonna say, you know what, he's the best player that we have so far.
So Carlos Vela didn't go. He was in Arsenal, which I would consider a big team, even though they haven't done anything for years. But he was only for a couple of years. And then he went to San Sebastián for La Real Sociedad. And that's not a top team for sure. No. And he did great the whole time. Do you still consider him? He had a better career in Europe than Raul Jimenez?
No, I think that he due to his lack of motivation and lack of self, that he never had that mentality that he wanted to succeed. If he did, he would have done great things, I think, because he's a player that, I mean, look at him. And Barcelona was looking at him. I know that it never happened, but it could have happened too.
People like Vela, they're like a marketing machine, dude. That's what they are. So, you know, a lot of these teams, that's what they also want. That's the reason why they want these players. Because Vela, anywhere he goes, just like Chicharito, right? They're going to sell jerseys. So any of the major teams knows that if they want to just sell jerseys and get more traction and attention, if they pick up a guy like Vela or Chicharito, they're going to get attention regardless. Do you guys agree with that?
Well, I think any Mexican player right now that is on a streak, he's going to get that. You see it with Raul Jimenez right now. They love him over there. And the Wolverhampton picked up millions of fans out of nowhere, out of Mexico, but just because of that player.
Yeah, not out of nowhere, out of Mexico.
Out of Mexico and the U.S., it's a huge market.
Of course, yeah.
Probably the biggest market in the world for soccer, maybe, number-wise. And the ones, they love to put money into it. They'll buy the jersey. They'll go to games. They'll support in social media. They'll do anything for their players. So,
hold on, Hugo. Right now, hold on. I gotta get this off my chest, man. And I think that's one of the problems that we have as Mexicans. You know, our acceptance of mediocrity. You know, we have one player, and I'm not trying to be a malinchista at all. But I think sometimes no, I'm just saying we're unrealistic. That's what we are. You know, we're like, and I mean Mexico and Mexicans, we're like not at the level where sometimes we think we are. You know, because we have, 4 or 5 standout players in Europe, if that. And even like other selecciones like Chile, right? Like, I mean, not to mention, obviously, Argentina and Brazil, they're fuera de serie. They're like at another level, right? But Colombia, they have like tons of players out in Europe. And for us, like we have, like, again, Jimenez is an exceptional player. I think he could go on to be one of the best players that Mexico has ever had, in my opinion, like when it's all said and done. But outside of that, dude, like we're just a bunch of mediocres, man. Like there isn't really like a bunch of players that we're thinking, oh man, like, you know, this guy. Am I exaggerating or do you guys not agree with that?
It's all about the money, man.
I think it's a process. Mexico, it's a process.
No, but Mexico, it's you know, we could have so many players over there, but in Mexico they pay a lot of money, and they don't. Not too many players like to sacrifice that just to go to play in Europe.
It's a process. It's a process also because it's getting more and more common to play in Europe, and like super setup. Before, it's why would I go to Europe and sacrifice my salary and everything and my family and everything just because I want to play in Europe? Now it's becoming more and more real to get there and get paid well also when you're in Europe. It's just a matter of time, I think. People are going to get used to it, to live there and to have a good salary in Europe. And we as Mexicans are going to see more and more players playing in Europe, and it's going to be normal now. Just like Argentinians, they have it all over the world doing well, and that's it. Once we have that, then we can start competing and be normal, and then, exigir más a tus jugadores. Ask for more, you know? It's tough right now. We only have a few in there, not that many.
I disagree though. I don't see that happening anytime soon because as long as Liga MX keeps hyping up those prices, no, we're not gonna have many Mexican players in Europe. We're not. Like I said, the guys don't want to sacrifice. Even the teams don't let them leave. If they put a clause like of $15 million, $20 million, like Monterrey was trying to do with Pizarro, for him to go to Europe, who do you think? In Europe, they don't want to pay that. They go to South America and get 10 players like Pizarro or Jimenez or any of those guys for a fraction of the price.
Yeah,
and that's why they have so many players over there. And now another thing that's gonna happen now that the MLS is investing money, it's only gonna make it worse. Like I said, now they're gonna start looking over here, and they're gonna say, all right, if I get $20 million in the MLS, why would I go to Europe for $5 million?
Well, that's why they say that the MLS is gonna get top level. Who knows?
Yeah, and then the other thing too, to Super's point, is that the MLS is also now looking everywhere, right? They're looking at, for example, they're targeting the Mexican stars, but I feel personally that's more of a business move. I don't think that's because there's no bigger motivation than that. But then if you think about the youngsters that they're going after, right? They're going after a lot of young players from South America and players who could have potentially made the jump to Europe already. One of them is Brian Rodriguez, the guy from LAFC. Have you guys seen that kid play? I mean, he is incredible. Guys of that caliber that could have easily gone to Europe, maybe not be like stars there, but like done what a lot of like players do, right? And remember, we all know this, that Mexico was that trampoline league, Mexico was the place where a lot of the South American players would go, se fogueaban, and then woof, off to Europe, right? And now Liga MX is also having to compete with MLS for those type of players.
Exactly.
We'll see. As long as they keep on paying the players here in Mexico, they're not gonna do too much then. That's right.
And I do think that MLS, in a short period of time, they're gonna become a potencia in as a league. I know they have different rules over here and they have different calendars and everything, but they're investing money. And what comes with money? Talent. If you get young players like that from South America and players from Mexico that now are starting to look at this side too, because we have El Way de Tigres that he's coming down to Jurgen Damm. Jurgen Damm. He's coming. He's already done with Tigres. He's coming over. We're still waiting on to see which team is he going to. He's could end up in Atlanta.
But again, dude, that's all mercadotecnia. And Jurgen Damm, he, in my opinion, is like one of those guys that had his opportunity and he didn't get a chance to, really show who we thought he was gonna be, right? And that's why I go back about the whole mediocrity, porque I think that nosotros los medios and a lot of people in the media like inflamos a los jugadores. We blow them out of proportion. We make it seem like the other day, that you guys were talking about el Messi, ¿Cuántos Messis hay, right? Like how many Messis? Like Super was el Messi de su pueblo. You know what I mean? So
I still am.
I still am.
The point is like it's mediocre, dude. Like, and that's why I'm fed up, and I think it just goes like down to, in my opinion, performance, and I don't think we perform, man. I mean, like, they do great against a team here and there, le ganan Alemania, and everybody's like, and then they beat Korea, and then they can't beat Sweden. Come on, man, and then they go against one of the best powers in Brazil, and they lose. I mean, por eso México nunca no ha dejado de ser el ya merito, right? We're like the ya meritos, and I think that a lot of it has to do with like the foundation. And I think there's a major shakeup that needs to happen, like así una sansoneada, so that way like que se ponga las pilas everybody, and that's from the players to the organizations to the teams to just the culture in general. So
too much at stake, I guess. It's all about money too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? With the Carlos Vela though, that he doesn't really. He said it that he doesn't enjoy soccer that much.
Yeah.
To me, that's not an intelligent move, but he's being honest, I guess. So, but there's sometimes when you put him up here with level, we know his potential. It's like when you talk about somebody who you mentioned about somebody and you say, "Oh, he's really intelligent. He at school he did amazing, but he didn't like it and he dropped off. But he's so smart."
Right.
To me, that's not being smart. To me, that's not being smart. Being smart means the whole thing. Being intelligent at school and being intelligent to stay at school and finish and then get a job or whatever. Same with him. He could be as good. He could be Messi, but he's not complete up here. So not a good player then. You know what I'm saying? He got the talent. He plays for MLS. He's enjoying. He's breaking records here and there. Exactly. But to me, he's not a complete player because he's not all 100% up here. That's my point.
He is in a comfort zone, and right now he came over here, and he is the MLS. The MLS is Carlos Vela right now. There's no one.
That's his personal decision. It's
you
great.
have a whole country over here that is basically like bowed down to you,
of course. Yeah.
And because now, if you, like I said, all the mirrors are on LAFC. The focus is on LAFC because, this guy, like I said, the talent that he has, I know it's a wasted talent to me, in my opinion. He could be playing in Europe, yes. But you said, I agree with you. You said that he's lacking something up here, but that's just the way we feel, though. If he has different opinions and ideas,
if he wants to go to live to New Zealand, he wants to move there. He'll just go to New Zealand and he'll be the New Zealand Messi, and that's it. He'll be the king, and it's not bad.
It's like the big fish in the small pond, right? All the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I see your perspective, Hugo. I mean, I think at the end of the day, he can be the biggest player, the best player in MLS, but the reality is that MLS is still MLS. MLS is not the Premier League. MLS is not La Liga. You know,
or even if he was at MLS, but he was breaking records here and there, and he would try to go to El Tri and try to break it and motivate and the whole thing.
Right.
He said he retired from El Tri already. Mm-hmm. He's going to in MLS and he's just here and there, relax.
But
he got talent. I'm not denying that, a lot of talent. But
yeah, and it's difficult because at the end of the day, like we can't even argue on his behalf that he's the best player for El Tri because he doesn't even play for El Tri anymore. That's just the reality. So and it's just like a crazy situation with Vela, dude. So anyway, guys, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and take a little break, and when we come back, deja pongo la musiquita para que vea la pausa. When we come back, we're going to talk to our friend. ¿Cómo se llama?
Monday.
Ya se te olvidó, güey. Ulibarri, güey. No la hagas de todos. Ulibarri, one of Mexico's best FIFA Pro players. He's gonna have all the tips for you. And again, just remember to make sure that you click on the link or go to www.eltrianline.com/FIFA20 so you can subscribe to the ETO tournament. All the rules and everything's in there. And that tournament is brought to you by President Dios. All right. So, ahorita nos vamos a la pausa, caballeros, y regresamos.
I'm going to go subscribe in the tournament.
Hey friends from El Tri Online, this is Joe Rodriguez. And as you guys know, El Tri Online has been actually focusing a little bit more on FIFA 20, getting a little bit into the gaming scene. And we're trying to do our best due diligence so that way we become a little bit more of the connoisseurs of the game. And as our upcoming tournament, within literally just days away, we are bringing out the big guns, and that's why we've invited a very special guest, one of the best Mexican FIFA Pro players, or if not the best, out there, and that is Rodrigo Ulibarri. Rodrigo, how are you, bro?
Thank you, Joe, for inviting me. And maybe not currently top one, but I want to think one of the best in history. But yeah, there's new talent in Mexico that are killing it right now.
Absolutely. Now, we want to actually get to know a little bit about you. There's some of our viewers that may not know who you are. So why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and how it was and why you got into FIFA Pro Gaming?
Well, I got into FIFA Pro Gaming because I love soccer. That's it. I just love scoring goals in any way possible. And long story short, I was half decent at soccer. As any kid in Mexico, I was aiming to go pro. And I played youth academy here in Pumas, and then I got a scholarship in the US. Then I get injured after the second year. I have like a chronic injury, and I just need to score goals, right? I just needed to continue scoring goals, and that's when I started competing in FIFA tournaments. And without planning it, I ended up making a living out of FIFA. Yeah, like it was just a nice moment to get involved in the FIFA competitive scene.
We're also here with Super
Hey,
Mojado.
Rodrigo.
So Super Mojado. Sorry. I meant to introduce you earlier. You're not as important as Ulibarri here, but you're second best right now.
I know, man. I was just gonna introduce myself to him. Hey, this is Super Mojado. Nice to meet you, man. But anyways, talk to us about your best experience playing FIFA and well, actually being in the career that you are, because a lot of people dream, to be a professional player, but they don't get to do it. Talk to us about some of those great experiences.
Well, the first of all, Joe, that was rude. Yeah, that you're
Malcriado, soy un
introducing straight
malcriado.
away. With that said, I think that the first moment that comes to mind, it was actually before I went pro. I mean, I'm a veteran now, like in the FIFA scene. So I'm gonna go way back, which is 2012 in the EA Sports Challenge Series. I went to New York and I made it top three in the world. But that was like the first time I actually got a glimpse on. Well, this is not just a game. It's definitely not when you're competing for thousands of dollars, right? It can be like a life changing experience. And actually, my good friend Boris Legend, a legend in the FIFA scene, next year in Vegas, he won the whole thing. It's like $120,000 prize, and we're talking like 2013. That was just insane. And seeing like the whole crowd and the pressure, the best players in the world coming around. That was for me something unreal. And that's internationally. In Mexico, it has to be Electronic Game Show. I had just become the national champion from a big tournament. We had like a one big prize money tournament a year, or we used to have, and then the next week I had to expose my new crown against my greatest rival, which is an Andre Torres, which was Andre Torres, who also got like top three in the world in 2013, I think. So it was like a great game. I don't know, like FIFA 17. And it was like Cruz Azul America from FIFA here because I was losing 2-0 in the 80th minute. And the whole crowd was making fun because I missed a penalty kick. I'm talking like thousands of people. And then I made a comeback, and the last penalty I scored it Panenka style because I'm a showman in tournaments. I always want to entertain the crowd. It was a great game. And last, the special mention would be after Chile destroyed us, and you guys are gonna like this. They destroyed us in soccer, 7-0. It still hurts.
Mm.
I went to Festigame Chile, which is like one of the biggest tournaments or video game events in Latin America, and I beat the best players from Chile, and I won that final in front of thousands of uh, persons from Chile booing me because I was from Mexico, and Fernando Palomo and Mario Kempes, the main commentators in the game, were live there, right next to us, so no pressure, right?
Right.
So yeah, it was an amazing experience, like being able to travel around the world, doing something you love, and then the pressure, the heat in the moment with the crowd, and then represent your country. Obviously, it's an honor, and of course, when there's also prize money, the pressure is pretty cool. But not everyone can take it, right? It's easy to choke in a moment like
Right.
that.
Right. What's the worst one? I mean, I'm sure there's also a handful of those, right?
The worst one, I think the Club World Cup 2 years ago. It went from like heaven to complete hell because that's how it felt. Because first, with my good friend Rain 10, another FIFA Pro for Mexico, we won here in CONCACAF to represent North America, right? So it was like, oh, this is great. And then I got presented as the first the first FIFA Pro player representing a club, like a soccer club, which was shows the Tijuana,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of hype and all that. And then I messed up completely in a game, and I had like an advantage. You need to understand, I'm a supporter of Cruz Azul,
Mm.
so everyone who knows
Oh,
some history knows that sometimes we tend to choke in the finals. So basically, we're playing against Bromby, who were the current, who were the champions in the end of the tournament, and we could actually knock them out in groups. And I had an advantage in the like 88th minute, so I get scored in the last play, and I got so tilted because it was like a lucky goal, and I lost the ball in the last play, and they made a comeback. So that was really painful because I knew many people from Mexico were watching. So
Mm.
that was painful. Like, to be honest, very painful.
Even in FIFA, La Cruz Azuleada follows them.
La Cruz Azuleada, yeah. The goals. I'm usually good at finals, but that day completely was Cruz Azuleada.
well, actually, being a Cruz Azul fan, it kind of falls for my next question. How mentally and physically draining can some of the seasons and tournaments be?
Oof, yeah, more than people realize. Like, honestly, I think people, for instance, when you watch Food Champions Cup stream or World Cup, you you just watch the games, right? But sometimes, and these are World Cup, in national tournaments, sometimes it's harder. It's like just spend 10 hours in a venue. Sometimes, even if you're doing well, you get exhausted eventually. So you need to make sure you eat right. You stay, like in the zone. It's really tiring at times. There's a lot of adrenaline. The further you get, the more you're getting into a prize money situation where you can actually change your life out of a FIFA game. And the thought that you represent your country, or maybe this opportunity won't come back. Those things can be very stressful, and then people at home want to know how you're doing, etc., etc. While at the same time you want to embrace the moment, because it's also supposed to be fun, but it's sometimes very tiring. In my experience, for instance, after that tournament in Chile, all the pressure and adrenaline, even though I won, I couldn't like move the next day
Mm.
because my back was just like so sore out of the pressure of the stress. And yeah, I was planning a vacation in Argentina. No, I had to come back to Mexico and go see a doctor, and it was just stress. Like,
Wow.
it was just stress out of the competition.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's talk about like what your biggest accomplishment in the sport has been. What would you say that is?
Um. Well, I mean, many years ago, Mexico was definitely on the top in the FIFA scene. We had like Cerecero, Andre Torres, and me with top three performances, right? Now it's getting harder. There are more pro players. The European scene is growing so much,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a challenge just to get to the Food Champions Cups. So I think, even though it was a long time ago, that top three in the world has to be um, one of my biggest achievements. But at the same time, I want to be, or I'm very proud about always being a player that is about fair play, right? So in a World Cup that I actually didn't do so well,
Mm-hmm.
well, I got barely knocked out of groups in ESWC in Paris. I think it was really cool because, talking about stress, I got a fair play award for not taking like the points of a match I just basically could take advantage of a player from Uzbekistan, I think, who
Hmm.
couldn't like have his account ready in Ultimate Team. So he had to go get his PlayStation in the hotel, etc.
Mm.
So like it was a mess. But Gorilla, which was the best player in the world at that time, he did take the points, because you have like a deadline. It
Right.
was like if you don't make it on time,
Right.
you're done. You get a free win, right? And Gorilla took the win. So then I refused, and everyone was like, "Gorilla took the points." I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm not Gorilla. I came here to play, right? I'm gonna wait for him. I don't care." So the tournament went on, but my manager was pressuring me, the players, the organizers, and it was really cool that the next day, well, I could finally play with him. I started losing the game. Everyone was making fun of me, and then I won the game 3-1 because it's fair play, but I still wanted to win the game, right? But I made
Right.
a good friend from Uzbekistan. He was so thankful, and the next day the organizers were like, "We pressured you so much because we want to see what you were made of,
Mm.
because we actually have a fair play award." And it was like a prize money and flights, and
Oh,
in front of a
nice.
crowd with the Mexican national shirt, full of a European crowd, applauding for fair play. That's something that I think is really important. Understand the context of Mexico. I think it was really nice, and something I'm proud to show that, it's about fair play as well. No, it's not only about taking advantage. I completely respect what Gorilla did, but I think it was just nice to show that a Mexican player can show some fair play in a World Cup.
Now you spend a lot of time here. You invest a lot of your time traveling and stuff. How hard is it to or what are some of the challenges you have trying to manage your personal life and your pro life?
Um, well, I would have to say it's hard, especially when you're trying to get to the top. There's no much of social life. Like it's hard. There is, but there's a lot of sacrifices when it comes to family, friends, a relationship. It's hard because they need to understand that you have to put your practice first, and also you have a weekend league. For champions, 30 games each weekend. Not every woman in the world would understand dating someone who has to play 30 games each weekend, right? And practice during the week. So yeah, that's been tough.
To the
Um,
doghouse.
yeah. Luckily now, yeah, now I think I have more balance. I did sacrifice for many years my personal life. Right now, I'm really happy. I'm with this girlfriend that completely understands and supports what I'm doing, and my family at first also, this, because this is kind of new esports. So at first they were like, "Are you crazy? Like, are you actually
Right.
you want to make a living out of playing a video game, right?" And yeah, esports are growing so much that it is possible now. Of course, added to sponsors, streaming, etc. The pressure of depending only on prize money was very stressful for me. Now I think it's a bit more relaxing to be also focused on streaming, on being an analyst and all that. Because when you depend on a prize money on one or two tournaments per year,
Right.
it's really tough.
Right. So let's talk about the type of advice that you would give someone who's trying to become a pro right now.
Um, this might sound a bit tough, but I want to keep it real. There are some opportunities that sometimes don't ever present themselves, and if they do, they might not come back.
Mm.
That is true, and you can see many players in the pro scene who had like a one-hit wonder or had like an amazing tournament, and that's when their name started to be known around the world. And if they hadn't performed in that tournament, they wouldn't be the same. It is true. So any national tournament, now the leagues, like the e-Liga or in France or the Premier League, etc., when they're scouting for players, yeah, you have to practice a lot for that, and try to get to represent any club. You need to take your chances, and also to be humble and understand that if you're really good against your friends in anything you want to do, you need to take example of the best in the world, but actually analyze what they're doing, and then add it to your play style, right? Because many people, I think, sometimes think that to get better at something is just practice, and it's not. It's the quality of the practice,
Right.
and part of that is actually analyzing the game, your opponents, the best in the world. Because so many people just focus on their game and just practicing, just grinding the game, which is a big part of it. But the most pro players also take a lot of time analyzing the game with coaches. So you have to be better than them. So it is tough, but it can be possible. But I would say not don't leave school, don't like all these things. Is like many people are like, oh, my parents don't support me on this idea. It's like, well, no, it's a hobby until it's not. But you
Right.
need to show them that you're really trying your best on this in your free time. Like you can't just leave school to aim to be a pro player in FIFA or anything, any sport. Like really, even if you're really good at it, you need to you'll know when the time is right,
Right.
when you can actually make a living out of it. But it's not for everyone. That's the sad truth. It's There's a lot of pressure involved, and there's a lot of talent involved.
Now, you play against the best of the best all over the world. But let's talk about a little bit about the popularity about the game within the Mexican culture.
Mhm.
What can you tell us about this and about Mexicans being in this? Are they as good? Are they? Do you? Is there a lot of them, or it's just not too popular?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, Mexico. I mean, it's just we're a soccer country,
Mm.
so of course we love FIFA, and there are tons of talents now. I'm really glad to see how the scene is growing so much in the recent years. Um, I don't know, like 5 6 years ago, you have like a clear top three, top four in Mexico who were like completely ahead of the rest, and now you got like the top 20, top 25 players in Mexico who are doing so well. And I would say like the top 10 Mexico can represent the country well in a World Cup. So that's great, and I think that it's just a matter of time that the e-Liga MX comes to Mexico. With it, actually, right now there was like a start of it because of the quarantine
Right.
with soccer players. That was like a start, I guess, to make people look at esports, right? The whole soccer audience. But I think it's just a matter of time, and it's going to be huge for the esports scene, not only the FIFA scene. That we actually have a like each club, each soccer Division 1 club represented by a FIFA Pro player. That's going to be huge, and it's going to open so many doors for so many talents out there.
Right. Now let's dive a little bit into the technicalities of the game. So when we compare, for example, a highly rated team like France in FIFA 20 versus someone, let's say like the U.S. or even Mexico, how on point are the ratings in FIFA 20? What would you say about that?
Um, I think it's pretty cool because yeah, it is pretty accurate in most cases. And what I mean about this, we got icons, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some icons that I think they have higher stats than what they show in the game. Like for instance, Ruud Gullit.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beast. He's just a beast.
Right.
I think he's way better than his card says it is. And I mean, it's to be expected, but in FIFA, it seems like he was, I don't know, like you make a milkshake of Maradona, Pele, Maldini, and you get Ruud Gullit in FIFA, right? So I think that's a bit unbalanced at times. But yeah, I mean, in general, it's pretty cool how accurate the player stats are in the game. That's pretty cool.
Now, tell us, what do you like the most about the game?
Scoring goals. That's what I like the most about the game. Scoring goals for sure.
Of course, of course.
Is there anything about like the technical aspects of it that you like? Anything that stands out?
I like that it feels like a chess game, like a mind game at times. There's so much I think the average viewer doesn't see in a World Cup, where it's like a huge strategy, like it's like a tactic war at times. When you see like Tex against Endosari or Nico Villalba or games like that, like big games, it's just amazing how the smallest mistake can be something you won't come back from in those kind of games. Just like you give Endosari or Tex one goal lead and you're done because they're just close to perfection in the way they play, the way they pass. So I think it's really cool, and also to defeat those systems, those defensive systems. There's a lot. If you analyze these games, these big games, the amount of decisions that had to be taken perfectly to get a goal against these guys is just unreal, and that's why I really like that. It feels like you're playing against um, the mind of your opponent. You know, it's just small details. The margins are so slow nowadays in the competitive scene.
Yeah. Well, as we mentioned at the very beginning, we're hosting a tournament. Our tournament is going to be a single elimination knockout, and it's actually going to be played with teams from both Liga MX and MLS. We're having them played regular mode, not 85, so that way, you know, the actual values of the team are going to matter. There's going to be a draft involved, and you know, we're going to give everybody the opportunity to, you know, draw them out of the hat and then place them in the order of rankings. Anyway, that being said, obviously a tournament is a lot different than a regular season, and especially ours. Again, it's single elimination, but it's not going to be like the FIFA ones where like sometimes players play an X amount of games, right? Ours is actually going to be one day, one game per day. So
Okay.
what I wanted to ask you about this, what kind of tip can you give to people that are involved in a single elimination tournament?
It's win or go home, right? It's tough mentally. I love those kind of tournaments. The tip I would give is the the 0-0. You know, when you're 0-0, that's everything. Like that's everything. Like I wouldn't say, you know, like when they say like defense wins championships, right? In some sports, but in a single elimination tournament, it's completely different than a best out of three, for instance. It's just completely different. And each situation, each opportunity you have to score, you have to be super effective because it may actually get you out of the tournament or get you through the next round.
Mm.
So it's just focus. You need to be super focused. You need to practice a lot, and you just literally have to make the best out of any chance you have to score. Way more than in other, like in a group stage it's different. You play more calmly. Here you have to be super focused, and
Right.
if you're losing and it's like, I don't know, like 60th minute, in a best out of three I wouldn't go all in, whereas in a situation like this you just have to, you can't, don't ever get knocked out of a tournament with the feeling that you could have done more.
La carne al asador.
Toda la carne al asador. That's right.
Now, what would be your best technique or your favorite technique or tactic that you to beat an unknown opponent?
Um, well, I try to get in their heads, like in the on the pitch, right? It's just you know, you want to keep the ball, and once they get desperate, then you counter. So it's like, it's not like I was just keeping the ball. It's like, no, I want you to get desperate, and then I'm going to score. If you try to pressure me, I'm going to counter you. I'm going to be super solid in defense, and then just to piss you off, I'm going to make some possession. That those kind of things.
Hmm.
It's I think it is about getting into your opponent's mind a little bit.
Right. Well, Ulibarri, I mean, as I mentioned, you know, you're definitely considered one of the greatest Mexican players in the FIFA scene. So
Thank you.
we want to give you a round of applause. And thank you very
Gracias,
much
gracias.
for your time, man. You know,
No,
it's
it's
a
a
blast.
pleasure.
And if you get a chance to maybe come back, and once we're done with the tournament, you know, and you can maybe help us analyze one of the games if you have some time.
Yeah. I'd love to. It was a pleasure, and thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun, and yeah, anything in the future, you guys can come to me.
And also, before we wrap up, where can people find you? Or where can they follow you?
No, they can find me on any social media. Also, I stream, I won't say daily, but I try to on Twitch. It's Ulibarri, which is my last name. It's UL number one BARRI. Obviously, my last name is without the number one. It's just for to make it sound like a gamer ID. But yeah.
Right, it's just like how it is on the screen. So
Exactly.
there you have it, guys. Thank you very much again, Ulibarri, and best of luck. All right, we'll talk to you later.
Gracias.
We're back. Thank you very much for tuning in to the ETO Podcast. Muchas gracias a Ulibarri por esa entrevista, Ulibarri. Thank you very much for giving us all those good tips. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview. Y super, ojalá y agarraste tu notepad and you made some notes, brother, because you're going to need that if you're going to enter the tournament. You're going to get your ass whooped.
I'm ready. Send me just the prices right now. So you.
If not, I'll teach you. I'll teach you a lesson or two. Anytime.
Oh, yeah, we go.
All right.
So there's a open forum for you, brother. I know you want something to talk about, dude. What is it?
Of course. I wanted to talk about a hero. He helped us out getting the La Once with Chivas. El Mazatleco Rodriguez. He's going back to his hometown. With Paco Palencia. What? What are you laughing at, Super?
What?
El Mazatleco Rodriguez. Have you seen him? He's ripped, man. He's complete. He will rip you apart. I'm telling you, he's going to do great with Mazatlan. I'll see him scoring a couple goals. Super.
Still
Mark
playing?
Ford.
This is not the Telemundo show here, man. He's just Liga MX.
Telemundo show. I forgot.
What is it called?
That was good. I gotta give you credit for that. No. He's still a professional soccer player, Super. Come on.
They're gonna break his nose again. What did they break?
Wow. Ooh. I'm telling you, if you see him, he's gonna rip you apart. You haven't seen him, right?
If this is the way how Mazatlan is gonna start their plantilla, forget it. Send them back to Morelia, man. They're done.
No. They're getting a team together in Morelia. Tu tío Higuera is gonna put up a team down in Morelia. He got money with the Cinepolis guys.
Oh man!
Give him credit, man. And Mazatleco, imagine that. What a dream to play in your hometown. It's like they go back to where you from again? It's where in Oaxaca. What's the name of the town?
Los Chapulines. Imagine he played for Los Chapulines.
Imagine Los Chapulines going back to Primera División or getting to Primera División.
Yes, but
Lo contratan de volada el Messi de los Chapulines.
Chapulinero.
Stadium.
Paco, I'm just gonna say one thing. Paco, resign now. You don't know what you get into.
Wow, shots fired, man. Oye, Hugo, but honestly, dude, I mean, I think you're really saying this more out of like it's a good, like a feel good story, right? Not like because he's gonna make any difference.
He might. That's a great. I think those type of players are. He's got a good resume. So think about that.
But Hugo, are you sure? Are you sure this is happening, or this was just a prank that people were putting online?
No. He is. He's officially a first player, I believe.
Is he?
You need a leader. You need a leader over there, of course.
I'm disappointed.
Hey,
well, I guess you need a leader in La Banca. That's
anywhere.
Hugo, don't you remember the Tronco bracket we did a few weeks ago?
The what?
The Tronco bracket. Where you were not around. You were out in Miami.
But I saw it. I saw ETO.
Yeah. He
Who
was.
ended up winning?
Yeah, well, he was up there. He was probably like in the quarterfinals or semifinals, right, Super?
Yeah.
Listen, Super.
I don't know why you didn't win, man.
Super. Look behind you, and behind me, you have a Chivas jersey. This one probably has 11 or 12. I'm not sure.
Listen, man, he
11 starts and he scored in the final against Toluca. You cannot deny he was an idol to you.
No, man, he was done when he went to America. That was it for me. Maza Rodriguez. Even when he was in Chivas, I never liked him. I never liked the way he played.
Even when he went to PSV. Even when he went to PSV, he didn't like him.
I don't know how he did that.
Did you remember? Did you celebrate that title against Toluca, 2005?
all I remember is Bofo scoring a nice goal, man.
The second goal. The first one who scored it, Maza Rodriguez. Did you celebrate that one?
I don't remember that.
Hey, Super, hold on, Super. I got a question for you. Who did you think was better, Héctor Reynoso or Maza Rodriguez?
Héctor Reynoso for sure, 100 times.
Se quedan con el portero también en la casa.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? That's it. Yeah. So, se nos acabó el tiempo. We're done. I think.
All right, subscribe, people. Subscribe.
Ahí está.
Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, a ver, deja que empezar la musiquita. Esa sí me gusta.
Ese DJ.
El lunes se queda dormido.
I know, right?
Hey, what's up?
All right, fellas.
Saca los glow sticks.
Ya estuvo. So that does it for this edition of the ETO Podcast. Again, a reminder that the tournament registration officially begins tomorrow. So make sure that you sign up. Click on the link or visit www.3online.com/FIFA20 and you'll get all the details right there. So 64 players. Make sure you do it right away so you can get your spot in the tournament. Great price, courtesy of Prism Deals. So don't miss out. On behalf of Hugo Bernal, El Super Mojado, I am Joe Rodriguez. Nos vemos hasta la próxima, chavos. No se me aloquen, por favor, y cuídense.
Sí, guys.
Wait, later, Maza.